I have a significant IRS bill from last year, and haven't had some challenges. I could do one of those where basically you settle with the IRS on a lesser amount, and I could make myself look less financially well off than I am in order to settle for pennies on the dollars or whatever they proclaim, some of these attorneys that actually settle these things. But and of course I answered my own question when I thought about it several days back, but I still wanted to propose it to you. Again, the government spends a whole lot of money on military and different things like that, so I'm not necessarily in agreement with what they're doing with the money. But my question is, again, I owed the IRS a considerable chunk of money, and if I had to, I could come up with that chunk of money. But if I had to, I could also portray a less of a financial picture for myself where I could settle with the IRS for a far less amount. So what would be the proper thing to do from an Abraham perspective?
Well, now let's feel this out in terms of what is the dominant vibration. We'll show you how this works. So which vibration feels best to you? The vibration of abundance and well-being, or the vibration of not enoughness?
Precisely. I mean, that's exactly where I went with it.
So you say, well, but I'll practice not enoughness just long enough to get this job done. And we say, and in doing so...
Exactly.
And the other thing is, it's not a good thing to practice, but it's also not an easy thing to fake. In other words, if you feel abundance, then
it's very stifling. It really is. And it was a very quick
so
answer.
Then let's talk about it in the other way. Let's talk about the IRS. And so when you think about the IRS and the money that they spend for bombs and things that you disagree in, you can feel how restricting that is and what a vibrational mismatch that is to well-being. In other words, you can feel that even though that's a valid thought, even though that's a true thought, even though that's an absolutely accurate thought, even though your point of view is dead on, in other words, you didn't make it up, even though it's a belief that you hold, is it one that serves you? And can you tell by... And so this is the thing about this virtual reality that we're wanting you to understand. We want you to stop feeling the need to tell the truth and start feeling the need to tell whatever it is that makes you feel better. Now, some would say, oh, so you're telling him, don't tell the truth to the IRS, pretend that he's making less money than he is. We're saying, that didn't make him feel good. In other words, that's not what we're saying. And so then you say, well... I like doing my part, that's true. I like carrying my weight. I don't mind helping someone out. I have contributed and would continue to contribute if I saw a need somewhere. And while I might do a better job of distributing it than they do, I'm not opposed to the idea of contributing. I like the idea of having excess in my experience. I like the idea of earning more than I really need. Here's what we've noticed as we've watched people wrestle with this issue, is that let's say that you are earning $100,000 a year and you're paying the IRS $40,000 of that, and you are keeping $60,000. We're just finding figures. And you begin to feel resentment about what you're paying to the IRS. And in doing so, you begin closing down and your well-being begins withering, and now you're making less. On the other hand, as you are appreciating what you are receiving and you're not pushing against what they're taking away from you, in that vibration, now you're making $200,000 a year and they're only taking $80,000 of it, and now you have 120, and now in that vibration you're making $500,000 a year. In other words, in the vibration of well-being, the universe yields to you more and more and more and more and more. In the vibration of not enoughness, you pinch yourself off from it, you see.
Absolutely. I mean, I stated very proudly how much I owed, because of course, you know, the more you make, obviously, the more you pay Uncle Sam. But
you might want to then let's play this a little further. Does this debt weigh heavily over you? In other words, is it something that is uncomfortable, or is it something that is a non-issue?
It's really not an issue, but I could have made an issue in order to...
Let us put it to you in this way. You say, I could pay the debt now.
Sure.
Does paying the debt now put me in a financial situation of closeness that feels better or worse than holding the debt? In other words, which feels best? To have a moderate debt with the IRS and have other money of flexibility, or would it feel better to me to pay this debt and be closer? In other words, you get to choose which feels better.
Right.
And we would make all of our decisions based upon which feels better, not upon what somebody else says should happen, or not upon something that you say you can do, which feels better.
Right. As a matter of fact, I was in the process of calling a friend just to discuss the matter with him, and even before it rang sufficiently for him to pick up, the answer came to my mind, and really where it came from was the three things that you speak about: freedom, growth, and joy. And that's where I made my decision based on. Is this going to offer me freedom? And of course, anytime you deal with the IRS or any kind of large government body, it's going to impinge upon your freedom. So that right there just made it very clear for me as to what I was going to do. But
sometimes people will be involved in a lawsuit, and they say, well, can I continue this lawsuit and allow well-being to continue to come to me? And we say, usually not, because usually in the middle of a lawsuit, you have to proclaim your inadequacy or your vulnerability or your problem. And you've got to get it activated pretty good in order for them to believe it. And once you've activated it pretty good, now you're in the place where you're disallowing your own well-being.
Exactly.
And people will say, but I'm so close and I could win really big. And we say, you never win anywhere near what you give up in those situations.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's beautiful. Another question. This is where I'm trying to get maybe confirmation that, or let me give you the background on it. Basically, I went through a relationship in the past, and I did what I thought I was supposed to do, and that is kind of try to not focus on that, maybe what could have been in that relationship, not focus on that. But every time I try not to focus on that, it kept coming up and coming up. And then I went to a...
As it came up, how did it feel?
I'm not really certain exactly how it felt, but it felt probably a little heavy, or, guilt, different things like that. I could have done more. But the point is that I kept trying not to focus on that, basically try to find a better feeling thought or better feeling experience. I would try to break the cycle of that thought with something. And then I went to a friend of mine, and what he got me to do is actually get into that emotion.
Yes.
So instead of trying to keep pushing it away.
Well, here's the reason for that. You see, when you have a thought that when you meditate it comes to mind, or when you try to think of other things it comes to mind, what you've got on your hands there is a really dominant thought.
Sure.
It's a dominant thought. In other words, it's in there. It's a dominant thought. You've revved it up there, and it's in that place of high attraction, and that's where we would focus wheel, or we would do some virtual reality. In other words, we would, as your friend encouraged you, we would start with that thought, and we would gently try to take it to, in other words, because you're not going to be able to change the thought. Esther realized that one day. We've told the story a few times, but it's always entertaining, so we'll give it to you again very briefly. Jerry and Esther were driving, and they stopped at a gas stop in the monster bus, and Jerry decided to put a little oil in, and then he failed to put the oil cap back on, and they drove further and made a big mess all over everything. And so then, as they are working to figure out what to do, the nearest oil cap is many miles away, and so they go through many shenanigans and have a great deal of fun as they are finding things that they can plug this hole up with. And it took the better part of an afternoon to accomplish, and then they made their way down the road. And the next day, Esther could not stop thinking about that. They had come to a meeting like this, and it was time for Esther to get ready to come down, and she was sitting in the chair trying to quiet her mind, and the thoughts of this kept coming back into her mind and back into her mind. And she was actually getting a little worried, because she likes to meditate before a gathering like this so that she's sure that she's in a high vibrational place, and her mind just kept coming back to that. Why did he leave the cap off? Do we need another checklist? We really didn't have time for that. Well, it really turned out all right. And we said to Esther, the reason that you are having a difficult time releasing this thought is because you spent so much time yesterday focused upon it, you made it into a really active thought. It was a great big bugger of a thought, you see. And so now in time, something that doesn't repeat itself in your experience on a regular basis will fade away.
Sure.
But there are some things that are activated enough that they do keep repeating themselves in your experience. And so it's hard for you to release the thought because it is almost always something that really matters to you.
Sure.
And that's why you focused upon it to begin with. And so when you have something like that that is really active in your vibration, and you can tell by the way it feels that it's not serving you while it's active, what we would do is we would go into a virtual reality, or we would go to a focus wheel. When we come back from segment of lunch, we'll talk with you a little bit more about it. And we would actually leave that thought in a better feeling place. We would transmute it. We would bridge the belief, so to speak. We would teach ourselves a different vibration. Because the situation caused a thought to be dominant within you, why can't a virtual reality cause a different thought to be dominant within you? That's the thing that we want to point out to you. You can choose which thoughts are dominant within you. You can. And with a little bit of practice, you can make a very allowing thought always present within you, so that well-being is always your experience.